Hey everyone, and welcome back to Love Hackers. You know, we're your daily dose of dating advice. I'm Alex Carter.
And I'm Sophie Tanaka.
And are you ready to kind of decode some more of these mysteries of the dating world?
Oh, absolutely. I love this stuff.
Yeah, well, buckle up because today we are tackling a topic that I'm sure has crossed a lot of minds out there.
Yeah,
How to find women who really prioritize a fulfilling sex life.
it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a really important one. And so we're going to dive deep today into some research and expert opinions to uncover the best strategies for doing this.
And maybe even challenge a few assumptions along the way.
Oh, for sure.
There
For
you
sure.
go.
All right. So one of the first things that jumped out at me when we were looking at this was this statistic. And it said that only 9% of American women desire daily sex.
Yeah, that's right. And it's from a recent YouGov poll.
Oh, wow.
And, I think it highlights something that's really crucial. We often make assumptions about what women want, but the data oftentimes paints a very different picture. And for anyone listening who has a higher libido than that, that 9% might feel a little daunting.
Yeah, I can see how that could be a challenge when it comes to actually finding a truly compatible partner.
Absolutely. And this is where the deep dive gets really interesting because the solution that's presented in our research might surprise you.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
Hookup sites.
Wait, really? Hookup sites?
I know, right?
I thought those were for a whole other thing entirely.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive, but just think about it for a second. These platforms are designed for people who are upfront about seeking casual encounters,
Okay.
which increases your chances of finding someone who's on the same page sexually.
That actually makes a lot of sense when you put it that way.
Right.
Yeah, and when you look at the sheer size of the online dating scene these days,
Oh my gosh.
it's hard to ignore the potential.
Yeah.
We're talking 366 million users globally,
Global.
and that number is only going up.
Constantly growing.
Yeah.
A study by Pew Research Center found that 26% of dating app users are specifically looking for casual relationships.
Wow, that's a pretty significant portion.
Yeah.
So it's not even just about finding someone who enjoys sex. It's about finding someone who is actively seeking a similar experience and comfortable being open about it.
Exactly. And let's face it, in traditional settings like bars or clubs, figuring out someone's stance on casual dating
Oh, yeah.
isn't exactly easy.
No, it's like a whole song and dance.
Exactly. Online, you can be more direct and transparent from the start.
So you're saying cut to the chase.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so which hookup sites are we talking about here?
Well, the research specifically mentions Adult Friend Finder,
Okay.
which is pretty much what it sounds like.
Okay.
But then there's this unexpected one,
Okay, what is it?
eHarmony.
Hold on. Isn't eHarmony known for, its focus on serious relationships, the whole, find your soulmate kind of vibe?
Yeah, that's the common perception for sure. But what's fascinating is that while eHarmony does emphasize compatibility across these various areas, lifestyle values, long-term goals,
Right.
they also factor in sexual preferences in their matching algorithm.
Oh, so even though their main selling point might be these lasting relationships, they're not overlooking the importance of, physical chemistry.
Not at all. And what we've seen is that eHarmony has actually had success in matching people who have a strong physical connection, even if that wasn't their initial intention.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It really challenges the idea that, hookup sites and relationship-focused platforms are totally separate worlds.
Yeah, they might cater to different primary goals, but there's definitely some overlap.
Yeah.
And it's ultimately up to the individual user to decide how they want to use these tools.
Right. Use the tool as it works for you.
Yeah, I like her.
Exactly. Okay, so let's say someone decides to give a hookup site a try. What's the best way to actually go about it?
Yeah.
Are there any specific strategies that can help them navigate these platforms effectively?
Absolutely. There are definitely some key things to keep in mind, and it starts with that very first message.
Okay.
You want to make a good impression. And that means avoiding anything overly aggressive or sexually suggestive right off the bat.
Yeah. Coming on too strong can be such a major turnoff.
Right.
It's important to treat the other person with respect and show them that you're interested in them as a person, not just a potential hookup.
Exactly. And one thing that really stood out in the research was the importance of personalization.
Okay.
Instead of using generic greetings like, hey, or what's up,
Yeah.
take the time to actually read their profile
Right.
and craft a message that shows you're genuinely interested.
Like you put in a little effort.
Yes, exactly. And the research even mentioned a statistic, 38% of men start with those generic greetings.
Oh, wow.
So putting in that extra little effort can really make you stand out.
Okay, so personalize it a little bit, make it unique, show
Yeah.
that you've read their profile and you're interested.
Got it. exactly. And once you've got a conversation going, the focus should be on being engaging and showcasing your personality. Right.
Don't be afraid to flirt a little bit.
Yeah.
Have some fun with it.
Keep it lighthearted.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's all about creating a connection beyond the physical.
Right. So you're building that rapport.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Building a rapport is crucial, even if the ultimate goal is a casual encounter.
Yeah.
You want the interaction to feel genuine and enjoyable for both parties.
For sure. And speaking of being genuine, the research also emphasizes the importance of being upfront about your intentions from the start.
Absolutely. If you're looking for a casual relationship, don't beat around the bush.
Okay.
Being honest and direct saves everyone time and heartache down the line.
So how do you bring up the topic of a casual relationship without sounding too blunt or insensitive?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
The research actually offers a really helpful phrase.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm not really looking for anything serious, but I'm also not just after mindless sex. I have to genuinely like someone to want to sleep with them.
Okay, I like that.
Right.
It strikes a really nice balance between being transparent about your intentions.
And still leaving room for things to potentially evolve if there's a strong connection.
Exactly. It's about being honest without closing yourself off to the possibility of something more if it feels right.
That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about being upfront about your intentions. But now, of course, whenever we talk about online dating, especially in the context of casual encounters, safety has to be a top priority.
Absolutely.
So did the research offer any guidance on how to stay safe while using these platforms?
Definitely. And one of the most intriguing tips was the idea of using a blank profile to monitor messages.
Okay.
So what you do is you create a profile with no information or photos, and you can get a sense of how many messages you're receiving and identify potential bot activity.
Wow, that's a really clever strategy. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
So what other safety measures did they recommend?
They emphasized the importance of profile verification.
Right.
If a platform offers verification features, prioritize those.
Yeah.
And if not, don't hesitate to ask for verification yourself. It's a simple step that can really help you weed out fake profiles.
Yeah, and scammers.
And stammers, exactly.
Better safe than sorry.
Right.
It's always best to err on the side of caution when it comes to these online interactions.
Absolutely. And speaking of being cautious, another crucial piece of advice is to never, ever send money to anyone you meet online,
Right.
no matter how convincing their story might seem.
That's such an important reminder.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, scams are all too common in the online dating world.
Yes, they are.
And it's crucial to protect yourself financially.
Yes, protect yourself.
All right. And of course, we can't forget about the importance of practicing safe sex.
Of course.
This applies to any sexual encounter, but it's especially important when you're hooking up with someone you don't know well.
Absolutely.
So to recap, it sounds like hookup sites can be a surprisingly effective way to find women who are open to and enthusiastic about sex.
That's right, but it's all about approaching it with the right mindset strategies.
Being respectful,
Yes.
communicative,
Yes.
genuine,
Yeah.
and above all, prioritizing your safety.
Could not have said it better myself.
All right, so before we move on, are there any other important insights from the research that we should highlight?
Yeah, there's one more that I think is really important to touch on.
Okay.
And it's the idea of managing expectations.
Oh.
It's crucial to go into this with a realistic understanding of what you're likely to find on hookup sites. Meaning that not everyone on these platforms is looking for the same thing.
Right.
Some might be open to a one-night stand, while others might be seeking something more casual but ongoing.
Okay.
And some might even be using these sites to find a serious relationship, believe it or not.
So it's a diverse landscape with a range of intentions and desires.
Exactly. And that's why open communication is so crucial.
Right.
Be clear about what you're looking for. Be upfront about your intentions. And don't be afraid to move on if you're not feeling a connection with someone.
So find someone who's on the same page and respect each other's boundaries.
Exactly.
Welcome back to Love Hackers.
Yes. Welcome back.
We're in the midst of a deep dive into the world of hookup sites.
That's right.
Exploring how they can be a viable option for men seeking connections with women who prioritize a fulfilling sex life.
Absolutely.
And before the break, we talked about setting the right tone with that first message.
Yes.
Being upfront about your intentions.
Right.
And of course, always putting safety first.
Safety first, always.
So let's go beyond those basics, though.
Yeah.
What are some of the deeper challenges and considerations guys should be aware of when they're using these platforms?
One thing that often gets overlooked is the competitive nature of online dating.
Yeah.
You're essentially vying for attention with countless other men
Right.
who are also looking for connections.
Yeah, it's tough out there.
It is. It's easy to get lost in the crowd.
Yeah, so how do you stand out then in this sea of profiles? Like, what makes a woman want to swipe right on your profile instead of the dozens of others she's probably scrolling through?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
And it goes beyond just having a few decent photos, you know?
Right.
It's about crafting a profile that genuinely reflects who you are and what you're looking for.
So no shirtless mirror selfies or generic quotes about living life to the fullest.
Definitely not.
Okay.
Those are instant turnoffs for most women.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Instead, think about what makes you unique and interesting.
Yeah.
What are your passions?
Right.
What are you looking for in a connection? Let your personality shine through in your profile. Authenticity is key.
So it's almost like a marketing campaign, but it has to be grounded in reality.
Yes. It's a very delicate balance. You want to highlight your best qualities,
Right.
but you have to do it in a way that feels genuine and relatable.
Right.
Nobody wants to feel like they've been catfished.
That's very true. Okay, so once you've gotten someone's attention, you're actually having a conversation.
Yeah.
What are some tips for like making those first interactions count?
We touched on this before, but avoiding the generic greetings.
Yeah.
It goes deeper than that. It's about asking open-ended questions
Okay.
that spark conversations instead of just like, how was your day?
Right.
Try to find something specific in their profile that piqued your interest. Maybe they mentioned a hobby you share or a book you've been meaning to read.
Yeah, show that you were paying attention.
Yes, show that you're paying attention and that you're genuinely curious about getting to know them.
So be present and engaged.
Exactly.
Don't just go through the motions.
Don't just go through the motions, and don't be afraid to be a little playful and flirtatious.
Okay.
A well-timed compliment or a bit of teasing can go a long way in creating a fun and lighthearted vibe.
But there's a fine line between being flirty and being disrespectful. So how do you strike that balance?
That's true. A good rule of thumb is to avoid making any comments that you wouldn't feel comfortable saying to someone's face.
Okay.
When in doubt, err on the side of caution and pay attention to how the other person is responding.
Yeah.
If they seem uncomfortable or put off by something you've said, back off and adjust your approach.
So read the cues, basically.
Read the cues exactly, both online and in person.
So we've talked about crafting a compelling profile,
Yeah.
engaging in those meaningful conversations, prioritizing safety. Is there anything else guys should keep in mind when they're using hookup sites?
One thing that comes up a lot is the issue of expectations.
Okay.
It's important to go into this with a realistic understanding of what you're likely to find.
So meaning what?
Meaning that not every woman on a hookup site is looking for the same thing.
Right.
Some might be open to a one-night stand, while others might be hoping for something more casual but ongoing.
Right.
And some might even be using the platform to find a serious relationship.
Really?
Even if it seems counterintuitive,
Yeah.
it happens.
So be upfront about your intentions.
Exactly. Communication is key.
Yeah.
Be clear about what you're looking for and be respectful of the other person's boundaries.
Yeah.
If you're not feeling a connection, don't force it. There's no point in wasting your time or anyone else's.
I like that. What about those who are a little hesitant to dive into the world of online dating? Maybe they've had some bad experiences in the past, or they're just not sure if it's the right fit for them.
Yeah.
Is there any advice you'd offer to encourage them?
I understand the hesitation online dating can be intimidating, especially if you've had some negative experiences before. But one of the biggest misconceptions about hookup sites is that they're only for hooking up.
Oh,
While that's certainly a primary function, it's not the only way that people use these platforms.
Joe, you're saying some people actually find meaningful connections
Absolutely.
through hookup sites.
Absolutely. Sometimes a casual encounter can evolve into something more serious.
Wow.
And even if it doesn't, there's nothing wrong with meeting new people and having some fun, as long as everyone is on the same page and being respectful.
Right.
It's all about approaching it with an open mind and seeing where things go.
So hookup sites aren't necessarily the evil, sleazy places they're sometimes made out to be?
Exactly, like any tool, they can be used for good or bad. It's all about your intentions and how you choose to engage with the platform. If you're respectful, communicative, and genuine, you might be surprised by the connections you can make.
So go into it with the right mindset.
Yeah.
And be open to possibilities.
Exactly. And if you're not having fun, there's no shame in deleting your profile and moving on.
Right.
It's all about finding what works for you.
Yeah, so speaking of finding what works,
Yeah.
I want to circle back to the topic of safety
Yes.
because it's something that we can't emphasize enough, especially when it comes to online dating.
Absolutely. Whether you're meeting someone for a casual encounter or a potential relationship, your safety should always be your top priority.
Always.
And that starts with trusting your instincts.
Yeah, if something feels off,
Yeah.
trust that gut feeling and don't hesitate to back out.
Exactly. And always meet in a public place for those first few dates.
Right.
No going straight to someone's apartment or inviting them to yours until you've established a level of trust and comfort.
That's good advice. And it's always a good idea to let a friend or family member know where you're going and who you're meeting.
Yes.
So that way someone knows your whereabouts just in case anything happens.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
simple precaution that can provide that extra layer of security.
For sure. And speaking of being cautious, it's also wise to avoid sharing too much personal information online,
Yes.
especially in those early stages of getting to know someone.
Early stages keep it vague.
Yeah, so no giving out your home address, phone number, or financial information
No.
until you feel really comfortable and confident in that connection.
Exactly. And if someone asked for that information too early on, that's a major red flag.
A huge red flag.
Trust your gut and don't be afraid to walk away from a situation that feels unsafe or uncomfortable.
Because your safety and well-being are paramount.
Paramount, exactly.
Welcome back to Love Hackers, where we're breaking down, all the complexities of dating and relationships.
All the juicy stuff.
Exactly. And today, we have been taking a deep dive into the world of hookup sites, exploring how they can be a really valuable tool for finding women who prioritize a fulfilling sex life.
Absolutely.
But hookup sites aren't for everyone.
Of course not.
And there's a whole world of possibilities out there beyond the digital realm.
That's right.
So for those who might not be feeling the whole online dating thing, what are some alternative approaches that they can try?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it's important to remember that technology is just one avenue.
Okay.
Sometimes the most meaningful connections happen organically through real-life interactions.
So you're saying put down the phone and get out there.
Exactly. Get out there.
Okay. But where exactly do you go to meet women who are open to and interested in sex without relying on those apps and websites?
Well, one classic option that never goes out of style is simply being social, putting yourself out there.
Right.
Think about places where people go to have fun, relax, and connect with others.
Okay.
Bars, clubs, social events, you name it.
Okay, I get the concept. But how can you tell if someone is open to sex just by meeting them at a bar? It's not like there's a secret code or anything.
You're right. There's no magic formula, but it's about being attuned to the vibe and the energy.
Okay.
Pay attention to body language, eye contact, the overall flow of the conversation.
Yeah.
If someone is flirty, engaging, seems genuinely interested in you, that's a good sign.
So read those subtle cues and be confident enough to approach someone and strike up a conversation.
Yeah, confidence is incredibly attractive, and it shows that you're comfortable in your own skin, not afraid to take a chance.
But I know that confidence doesn't always come naturally, especially when it comes to approaching someone you're attracted to.
Oh, absolutely.
Any tips for boosting that inner swagger?
One thing that can really help is simply practicing.
Okay.
The more you put yourself out there and you talk to new people, the easier it becomes.
Okay.
And remember, rejection is a part of life.
Oh, yeah.
It happens to everyone, and it doesn't mean that you're not attractive or desirable.
Right.
It just means that you haven't found the right match yet.
It's a redirection, not a reflection of your worth.
Exactly. And if someone's not interested, just move on gracefully.
Right.
Plenty of other fish in the sea, as they say.
Okay, so practice confidence and a healthy perspective on rejection.
That's it.
Got it. Besides bars and clubs, are there any other real-world settings where guys might have luck meeting women who are open to sex?
Absolutely. Think about your hobbies and interests.
Okay.
Are there any activities or groups you could join where you might meet like-minded people?
Okay.
Maybe a hiking group, a book club, a cooking class, or a volunteer organization?
So finding that common ground, those shared passions.
Yeah.
Which can make it easier to connect with someone on a deeper level.
Exactly. When you're surrounded by people who share your interests, it creates a natural sense of connection.
Right.
Makes it easier to strike up conversations.
Right. And who knows? You might just meet someone special who's also looking for a little fun.
Exactly.
So expand your social circle, create those opportunities for organic connections.
Exactly. And if group settings aren't really your thing, think about your existing network of friends and acquaintances. Okay.
Is there anyone you could confide in and ask to set you up with someone who might be a good match?
So, good old-fashioned matchmaking.
Sometimes the best connections come from people who already know and trust you.
Yeah.
And if you're comfortable being open about what you're looking for, your friends might be able to play Cupid,
Okay, I like it.
connect you with someone who's on the same page.
It's like a modern day version of those arranged marriages they
Yes.
used to have back in the day.
Exactly.
But with consent and agency, of course.
Of course.
So leverage your network, let
Yes.
people know what you're looking for,
Exactly.
and who knows, that perfect match might be right under your nose.
You never know.
Yeah, and all it takes is a little nudge from a friend.
A little nudge. Remember, whether you're meeting someone online through a friend or at a social event, communication is key.
Right.
Be honest about your intentions, listen to what the other person is saying, and respect their boundaries.
That's very important. These are the foundations of any healthy and fulfilling connection, regardless of whether it's casual or serious.
Such an important reminder. Communication is the cornerstone of any successful relationship, and it's something we can all work on improving.
Absolutely. And remember, finding a fulfilling sex life is about more than just techniques or strategies.
Right.
It's about understanding yourself, what you desire, and finding someone who shares those desires and respects you as a person.
It's about compatibility, connection, and mutual respect.
Exactly. And remember, there's no one right way to find love, sex, or connection. What matters most is that you're true to yourself and you're enjoying the journey.
Well said, Sophie. And on that note, we're going to wrap up today's episode of Love Hackers. I'm Alex Carter.
And I'm Sophie Tanaka.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dives into the world of finding women who love sex.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and feel empowered to navigate the dating landscape with confidence and authenticity.
Yes.
Remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share this episode with anyone who might find it helpful.
Yeah, spread the love.
And until next time, happy dating.